Why do so many people suddenly seem to weaken and quietly withdraw from life after turning 80, even though just a few years earlier, they were still sharp, active, and full of vitality? We often think it's just the natural course of aging, something to be expected due to old age, genetics, or inevitable physical decline. But the truth is, there are more subtle, often overlooked reasons contributing to why many older adults don't get to live as vibrantly or as long as they truly deserve. And here's the good news. Once we recognize these reasons, we can do something about them. We can slow down the decline. We can preserve our clarity, our energy, and our joy in the years to come. In today's video, I invite you to explore 5 quiet yet powerful reasons why so many people seem to stop living after 80. More importantly, we'll talk about what you can do to make sure that's not your story. If you're ready, join Advice for Seniors on this gentle journey of reflection so that from today on, you can live healthier, happier, and more meaningfully. Reason number 1, losing the small daily social interactions. There's something many people don't realize. We don't just live through grand relationships. We live through small moments of connection too. A gentle greeting from a neighbor, a familiar nod at the corner store, a few words exchanged with the mail carrier or the cashier. These may seem like tiny, trivial moments, but they quietly nurture our sense of belonging, of being seen, of being part of the world. They keep our brains engaged, uplift our mood, and help our bodies stay in sync with the rhythm of life. But after age 80, many of these daily connections start to fade. We stop going to the store because we're used to ordering online. We stop taking evening walks because of sore feet or fear of falling. We stop talking to strangers because our hearing or eyesight isn't what it used to be. And when these little things disappear, so does our feeling of being in life. I once knew an 83-year-old gentleman who walked to the same cafe every morning, not for the coffee, but just to sit and watch people pass by, to nod at familiar faces, to exchange a few kind words with the staff. That simple routine kept him healthier than many people a decade younger. Why? Because he still felt like he was living in the world. Science shows that when we lack social interaction, even small ones, the brain reacts as if we're isolated. It increases stress hormones, weakens the immune system, affects memory, emotions, and our overall sense of well-being. So if you've noticed that you talk less than before, go out less often, or avoid conversations, it's time for a small change. Call someone. Open your window and wave to a neighbor. Go to the market in person just once instead of ordering online. Don't dismiss those moments as insignificant, because they might be the very thread that keeps you connected to life. Reason number 2, being overly cautious to the point of stopping all movement. After the age of 80, many people begin to live with a quiet fear. Fear of falling, fear of pain, fear of being a burden to their children. This fear often starts from a minor slip, a fleeting knee ache, or a brief moment of imbalance on the stairs. And so they begin to adjust. They stop going for afternoon walks, avoid bending over, stay inside when the weather's cold or the roads are wet. At first glance, this may seem reasonable. Who doesn't want to be safe? But what no one tells you is this. When you stop moving, your body doesn't just stay the same, it weakens. Muscles shrink, balance deteriorates, joints stiffen, and the cycle spirals downward. The more you fear, the less you move. The less you move, the weaker you become, and the weaker you are, the more fearful you get. I once knew an elderly gentleman named Raymond, 82 years old. He used to take a daily walk around the neighborhood, slowly but consistently. Then one day it rained lightly and he slipped on the walkway. He wasn't injured, but he became afraid. From that day on, he stayed indoors. 6 months later, he needed a cane. A year later, walking became a real struggle, not because of age, but because his body was no longer being trained to move. The scary part? This decline doesn't happen loudly. It creeps in, quietly, like a tree that hasn't been watered. It doesn't wilt right away, but it dries out a little more each day. So if you find yourself sitting more than before, reluctant to stand or move, ask yourself, am I protecting myself or am I slowly losing life? Because the truth is, surviving past 80 isn't just about avoiding risks. It's about continuing to move, slowly, carefully, but still intentionally. No one expects you to run, but get up, walk a few laps around the house, do some gentle stretches. Even just practicing sitting and standing without using your hands tells your body, I still need you. And in return, your body will respond by growing stronger, little by little. Reason number 3, disrupted sleep cycles from lack of natural light exposure. After age 80, one of the most overlooked yet impactful health factors is light. Specifically, not getting enough daylight and being exposed to too much artificial light at night. It may seem small, but light is the invisible clock that silently regulates your entire body, from sleep and mood to metabolism, memory, and healing. Many older adults spend most of their time indoors, especially during the colder months. They draw the curtains tight, skip morning walks, and spend the evenings under bright lights or in front of a television. Each of these actions seems harmless, but together they can cause serious disruption to your body's natural biological rhythm, also known as the circadian rhythm. In the morning, natural light acts like an internal alarm clock. It signals the brain it's time to wake up, move, and create energy. If you miss this morning light, especially in the first hour after waking, your body may feel sluggish, unfocused, and unmotivated. On the other hand, too much exposure to artificial light in the evening, from lamps, TVs, or phones, can suppress melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall and stay asleep. I remember a woman named Helen, 84, who often felt foggy, forgetful, and had trouble sleeping. After multiple tests revealed nothing conclusive, her doctor gave a simple suggestion. Every morning, open all your curtains and sit by the window for 20 minutes. At night, turn off the TV and limit phone use before bed. Within 2 weeks, the changes were remarkable. She slept better, felt more alert, and began remembering little things that had once slipped her mind. Light, which seems like an external factor, is actually a current that helps your body stay in harmony. Without it, everything becomes disorganized and sluggish. But the good news is, this balance can be restored easily. Just open a window, step outside in the morning, or sit near a sunlit plant. In the evening, dim the lights to help your body recognize it's time to rest. Your circadian rhythm doesn't need medicine to heal. It needs timely light and timely darkness. When you restore this light cycle, you don't just sleep better, you live better, remember more clearly, and feel refreshed every day. Reason number 4, suppressed emotions after loss and isolation. In your 80s, there's one experience nearly everyone shares, yet very few are willing to talk about. Loss. The loss of a lifelong partner, the passing of close friends, siblings, or even children who, in our hearts, should have outlived us. On the surface, many older adults seem calm in the face of these sorrows. They don't cry much. They don't speak about it often. They just continue living, as if they've somehow grown used to loss. But the truth is, no one ever gets used to loss. We simply get used to hiding it. And that quietly begins to harm not only our emotional health, but also our physical well-being. I once knew an elderly gentleman named George, 86 years old. His wife passed after more than 60 years of marriage. He didn't complain or grieve outwardly. He still went to the market, cooked, and listened to the radio. People praised his strength and composure. But within a year, George began losing weight, couldn't sleep well, and lost interest in nearly everything. Not because of any particular illness, but because his heart had shut down. He never once allowed himself to say, "I miss her so much," even though everyone around him knew it was true. When grief goes unspoken, it doesn't disappear. It settles in quietly. And over time, it begins to erode your immune system, disrupt digestion, interfere with sleep, steal your appetite, and even increase your risk of cognitive decline. The body knows when emotions are buried, and it responds by growing weaker. But the good news is, healing doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes all it takes is one person willing to listen. Someone you can tell that you feel empty, lonely, that you miss memories no one speaks of anymore. It could be a lifelong friend, a kind neighbor, a small support group, a counselor, or even just a notebook you write in each night. Sharing doesn't make you weak. It's how you open a window, let in the light, and give your soul room to breathe. The people who live long, meaningful lives after 80 aren't those who've never known sadness. They are the ones who allow themselves to feel, to speak, and to keep walking forward with a heart that's been gently healed, not by time, but by truth. Reason number 5, losing a sense of daily purpose. There's something most people don't realize. We don't live just on food, breath, or medicine. We live on a reason to keep going, a purpose, even a small one. Something that makes us open our eyes in the morning and think, I still have something to do today. It doesn't have to be a grand mission. Purpose could be as simple as watering the plants before the sun gets too hot, setting out a meal for the stray cat that always shows up, calling an old friend, waiting to greet the newspaper delivery person with a smile. But after 80, these reasons often fade. The friends at the card table stop coming. The church group disbands. The grandkids grow up, get busy, and the phone calls become rare. And suddenly morning comes, and there's nothing to do but wait for the day to pass. That's when the body begins to shut down, quietly, gently. Not from disease, but from a kind of quiet fatigue. Meals feel bland, steps slow, not from pain, but from a lack of destination. I once met a woman named Ruth, 88 years old, living alone with no family nearby. Yet every week she had a schedule. Mondays she wrote cards to sick parishioners. Wednesdays she cooked soup and froze some to donate to a shelter. Every afternoon she sat by the window to wave at the school children passing by. That was how she created her reasons to keep going. To still observe, still contribute, still live. The human body is incredibly wise. It knows when it is still needed. And when it's no longer used, it begins to retreat, like a lamp that no one switches on anymore. So if you've ever sighed one morning and thought, there's nothing worth getting up for today, listen closely. That's not just a passing sadness. It's a quiet cry. From your body, from your spirit, from the part of you still longing for meaning. Begin again with the smallest thing, something you used to enjoy, someone you used to speak to, a habit that once brought you joy. Because to live long isn't just about a beating heart. It's about a heart that knows why it keeps beating. Growing older doesn't mean fading away. It means walking forward with more intention than ever. Many people believe that decline after 80 is inevitable. But as we've just explored, much of that decline doesn't come from age alone. It comes from the silence of routine, from the quiet disappearance of once small but vital things. Simple conversations, gentle movements, morning sunlight, unspoken sorrow, and a purpose to wake up for each day. No one fades overnight. The dimming happens little by little, until one day we no longer remember when we stop truly living. But just like that, a return, a renewal, can also begin with something small. A phone call, a walk, a patch of sunlight, a heartfelt sentence, a plant on the porch that needs tending. If you're entering your 80s or preparing for that journey, remember, you still have time. You still matter. You still have a choice. Choose to speak, not stay silent. Choose to move, not remain still. Choose to open the window to the sun, not draw the curtains. Choose to live, not just exist. And if you're in your 60s or 70s, today is the time to start protecting the things that will keep you healthy, strong, and joyful well into your 80s. Tell us, which of the 5 reasons spoke to you most deeply? What small thing will you do differently, starting tomorrow? Thank you for staying with us through the end of this video. If you found this meaningful, please give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and don't forget to subscribe to Advice for Seniors so you never miss a gentle, powerful message to help you live longer, healthier, and more fully every single day. We'll see you in the next video, where together we'll keep writing the most beautiful chapters of life after 80.